Vishal, for the introduction. And I'd just like to put a minor correction. He said that I've completed my degree from the Bachelor of Commerce, but I haven't. I'm still in the University of Business. I've been in it for more than 30 years and I'm learning every day. I don't think I'll ever get a degree. I'll continue to learn on a daily basis. So welcome everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm told to take you through my journey, the journey of the brand. I'll start that without much ado. How the prompter works. That's how we look in pictures. So a brief introduction into the brand. I'll start from where I began. I began the journey back in 1992. I entered the business because I saw a gap in clothing for men that wasn't available in the domestic market at that time. Humble beginnings, no background of the family business or the fashion business as such, but thought my mojo lies here, had a keen eye for fashion. Middle class family background, didn't have the money, borrowed some money from my aunt, and I jumped into the fray. Fortunately, met with success right away because what we were making was different as compared to what was available in the market. Few years into the business, and we could see that the industry is evolving very rapidly, and menswear in particular was beginning to get brand-led, and as we could see that the industry was getting organized, and also menswear was going through a radical shift in fashion at that time. Every 20-25 years, menswear goes through a radical shift. Prior to that, men wore loose-fitted clothes and baggy trousers, baggy shirts, etc. And at that time, the trend that was emerging was slim-fit clothes, shirts that are kept out and not tucked in, etc. So chose to, as I saw an opportunity to build an iconic fashion brand there, because I could see that the type of trend that was emerging wasn't available in the market and it was radically different from others. Hence, chose to call it Mufti. I don't know if you're aware, but Mufti is actually a Hindi term used by all our armed forces whenever they are not in uniform. It's like the police would say, sir, kal hame raid marne jana hai, Mufti mein aana hai ya uniform mein aana hai. So technically, we're all in Mufti right now, as per the meaning of this Hindi word. So chose to call it Mufti because what we were making was very different as compared to what was available in the market, and gave the brand a tagline saying anything else is uniform. कि बाकी लोग जो बनाते हैं वो यूनिफॉर्म है, and हम जो बनाते हैं वो थोड़ा हटके है. So that's how the brand was launched, and when I launched it, there was a lot of skepticism in the industry whether this will succeed or not, because the products were very different as compared to what was available at that time. But however, I took the leap of faith in spite of the industry writing me off at that time, saying that this will not work. Requested a few retailers to allow me to place the products on their shelves. And if it sells, they should pay me. If it doesn't, they can give it back to me. Fortunately for me, the consumers were absolutely ready, and the products began to fly off the shelves. The trade and the industry garnered more confidence and faith in my vision for the business, and forged new partnerships, met newer distributors and forged partnerships with them, moved into new territories and new geographies. Grew, rode the India wave post that, grew with the market, grew with department stores, and opened EBOs. Come 2008, and we wanted to do a campaign pan-India and quickly ramp up our stores. And the reason to do that was because prior to that, if you're available in a MBO or a department store, so typically the customer enters that store and then discovers your brand there. However, if you have a standalone store, then the consumer better be aware of what your brand stands for, so that there's enough footfall that you generate in your stores, which is critical to do the business that you want to do there. For that, to get economies of scale, we quickly ramped up stores. We did a treaty with Times of India, the brand equity treaty, and our first campaign was done in summer of 2009, and that was the first mass campaign pan-India. Prior to that, we were doing in some metro locations only. But the moment we did it all over India, the brand immediately took off, and after that, there was no looking back. By 2012, we were a debt-free organization, in fact, winning some awards, 2011 onwards itself. So presently, we retail through 1,807 touchpoints pan-India across 591 cities. And we continue to redefine clothing for men. What we provide even today is an alternative dressing solution for the contemporary Indian man that is casual, creative, and expressive. So we provide a meaningful solution for multiple occasions in a consumer's life. As you know, casualization has hit us. There are different types of casuals that you need for different moments and occasions in your life. I'll touch upon that a little bit in the next slides. So creative, bold, and expressive clothing, that's how we are, and that's what the brand stands for, and that's how the brand differentiates itself from the mainstream brands, and that's how the offering, as you can even see some of them that's already displayed here, is different from what you would find with some brands. Being where we are today, during this, I've told you about the reason why we started and the reason for our inception and existence. However, over this journey, we've had a humble beginning, as I mentioned, and there's a lot of learnings that we've had over the way and continue to learn even today, as I mentioned. But when we turned 20, we decided to do some soul searching internally to try and see what the brand stands for. I mean, are we just an apparel business that exists to make money, or can this brand outlive my generation and be a brand that can outlive future generations? And why we believed that, and why we had the courage to even ask ourselves this question, is because the brand has since inception never tried to ape or copy any other foreign brand or try to be like another brand. Wherever we are, we have been able to get there because we formed a very unique niche. We've been able to carve out a niche that's very unique to our brand, and you can only understand that clearly if you visit our stores and visit other stores in the market. So having this history of having done something indigenous and banking on our own strengths, we believed that if the story is narrated well, excuse me, the brand could outlive future generations and stay on and thrive for longer. So how brands do that typically is by being able to narrate their story well. And when I say narrate the story well, that is done by brands by typically anchoring themselves on a muse, and that muse becomes the common thread with which they stitch across all points of communication to the consumer. So we set out on a journey to find a muse for the brand, just like international brands like Prada anchors itself on Milano, or Burberry anchors itself on London, Scotch and Soda anchors itself on Amsterdam, or Havaianas, the footwear slipper brand anchors itself on Brazil, and Hollister on Hawaii, etc. We chose to anchor the brand on Mumbai, as usual, sticking to our roots and drawing some inspiration from there. So Mumbai wasn't just chosen because that's the city of our origin and that's the city where we were born, but more so because the emotion of the city and the spirit of the city is very, very similar to the spirit of the culture in our organization. So hence we chose to anchor it on Mumbai and change 3 things about ourselves. Number 1, the brand identity. Number 2, the retail identity. And number 3, the merchandise architecture. So what you see here on the screen is the retail identity that we created, and what you see in the middle is our logo that got created, and that was created from the Devanagari alphabet M, because M stands for Mumbai and M also stands for Mufti. And as you may have seen in the AV that we showed earlier, because we didn't want a logo for the brand which is a graphic expression of nothing. We wanted a logo which narrates our story and is again connected to our roots. Hence we took this Devanagari alphabet M, tilted it a little, removed a few dashes, and what you see in the middle of the screen became our logo. This logo to us looked like a graphic expression of a bird in flight, and hence this day the M bird was born, and a new tagline called Airborne since 1998. So that's the new identity that was created, and the images you see below that are the images of our new retail identity that also reflected the spirit of the city of Mumbai. It's an industrial looking store that was created to display our merchandise and convey our new lifestyle thought, which I'll talk about in a couple of moments, to the consumer. And the store is industrial. It's got that feel of it's not complete. It's forever changing, forever evolving, just like our city does. And we use some elements from Mumbai as well to connect the dots of the brand. And like you see here on the image on the left, there's a tetrapod lying next to the mannequins. That tetrapod is usually found on the coastline of Mumbai. So there are some other elements like this, like if you see the drawers in the fixtures, the drawers are blue in color, and this color was inspired by the seats of the first class compartment of a Mumbai local. And there are a few other elements like that. So that's the retail identity that was created. And like I said, we worked on our merchandise architecture. We met some of our consumers, and we understood that they wanted more and more from us. So as casualization has hit us, as I mentioned earlier, over the last 20-25 years, casual wear has become a larger and larger share of our wardrobe, even as it's mentioned in the industry report. We could see that consumers require different type of casuals for different occasions and different moments in their lives. So hence we created a structure within the offering of our merchandise and called it the new merchandise architecture, and created 4 verticals. To illustrate that, just to give you an example, you have your daily casuals are different, your holiday casuals are different, what you wear for your parties is different. And when I say parties, it's also different. What you wear for an evening wear party is very different compared to what you'd wear to a brunch party or a lunch party. So consumers wanted different type of casuals with different aesthetics for different occasions in their life. So we created 4 different verticals within the width of our offering, so that our designers could create collections within each vertical, providing a more meaningful variety within the universe of casual wear for our customers, so that we can cater to multiple occasions in their life and thereby get a better share of their wardrobe and their wallet. So that was the new architecture that was created, including athleisure, which is more for your lounging or travel moments. That's the first retail store that got created on CG Road, Ahmedabad, with the new identity, and that was January of 2020. Soon after that, COVID hit us. But fortunately, we've been a profitable company all along, and we're cash rich enough, and our CFO was kind enough to allow us even during that period to continue to go on changing and renovating our stores, because we had a very good response from the consumers and our trade partners and franchisees for the changes that we made to the brand identity and the merchandise architecture, and also when the retail identity was presented to them, they were very, very pleased and were certain about it. So we went ahead and made a lot of changes. So most of our stores today are of the new retail identity, and some of them are of one generation prior, which have been modified moderately again to convey the new story that we intend to take to our consumers. A brief industry overview. I'll quickly skip over this. So the industry is slated to grow at a CAGR of 21% over the next few years, 5 years, so to say. However, the men's branded segment and the organized market is likely to grow at a higher pace, and the men's branded segment is likely to grow at a higher pace than that, at roughly 29 or almost 29% CAGR. The growing middle class in India, as we all know, is giving a rise to people's aspirations for wanting to consume brands, and that is something that's helping the growth of brands in the casual wear segment, the urban population, of course, and casual wear, as per the industry report, is likely to grow and take a larger share of the consumer's wardrobe going forward, even more than whatever it's taken in the past. And of course, we have one of the youngest populations in the world. Coming to some key strengths of our business, I think I will talk about all of these one by one. Excuse me. This is an important slide where we're trying to talk about the positioning of the brand, and where the brand stands among whatever other brands are there in the market. So what you see here on the x-axis we are trying to depict is that there are some denim-led brands and some casual-led brands. The point that we're trying to make here is that if I say Levi's, what product comes to your mind? Sorry?
Jeans.
Jeans, right? So if I say Lee and Wrangler, sure it's going to be that. If I say Diesel or True Religion, it will also be that. If I say Lacoste, what is it that comes to mind?
T-shirts.
T-shirts, right? And if I say Arrow, what's it that?
Shirts.
Shirts. So the point that we're trying to make here is that typically brands are strong in the category that they are known for, and names that I've taken is just to draw an inference and convey our point. I'm not speaking particularly about these brands. All of these are well-established brands, but most brands are strong in the category that they are known for. However, we are strong in both top wear and bottom wear, and we straddle both universes of denim as well as casual successfully. We've been doing that over the last few years, and our sales reflect that. Because our sales are almost half and half in both top wear and bottom wear. Excuse me. And also the industry report reflects that. We have a very balanced mix in the offering of our product portfolio to the consumer. So that's where we are on the x-axis, and as far as the y-axis is concerned, here what we are trying to depict is show brands from luxury to premium plus to premium and mid-premium and value, and where we stack up there. You see, typically as consumers grow wealthy and as they want to, then they want to climb up the social ladder, and they want to acquire brands that they earlier aspired for. So among international brands, if you'd see, Tommy Hilfiger is a brand that is positioned as a bridge to luxury brand, where typically among international brands, that's the brand that a consumer acquires first or is most accessible before they can move on to even higher brands like Armani, Hugo Boss, or many other brands that may exist higher than that. So similarly, us as a brand are positioned in the just below that as a bridge to international premium brands, as a brand that's aspirational for the for the growing middle class in India, fueling their aspirations to acquire brands, and as an enabler brand along their journey as they climb up the social ladder. So that's where we sit in a sweet spot in between the X and the Y axis. So that's the positioning of the brand. And as you can see, it's reflected in the industry report in terms of our sales. And here I'd just like to point out that the reflection of percentages for us is pure play men's apparel, Whereas for the other brands, it includes, I believe the industry experts could not find the sales for pure play men. So it includes everything from women's wear to kids wear to footwear to whatever other categories the brands may be into. However, what's reflected as far as our sales is concerned is pure play men's apparel. So that's on the brand. We have a wide range of products for multiple occasions in a consumer's life across shirts, t-shirts, sweatshirts, jeans, chinos, joggers to blazers, in outerwear from blazers to jackets to sweaters. And I've already given an idea of the positioning of the brand between the mid-premium to premium casual wear market. And we're available through 1,807 retail touchpoints across 591 cities, 404 EBOs as we speak. 57 odd percent of our sale is derived from EBOs, 31 odd percent from MBOs, and the rest from large format stores and e-commerce partners. So as you can see, we've had one of the fastest rate of expansion in the last 3 years, and we have a decent spread. We are well spread all over India from north to west, east and south. We are available across all types of cities, from metros to tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 towns, and derive our sales wherever there is a consumer demand for mid-premium to premium casual wear. We believe in being present in that market, and we are present in all the markets wherever there is demand, or most of the markets wherever there is demand for such type of products. And we are present through malls and high streets, both type of stores across all types of cities. So what we have is what we have been doing is growing this business through a profitability lens at all times. And what we built is a asset-light business model that is scalable from the front end to the back end. At the front end, typically within 30 to 35 days of signing a store rental agreement, we are able to open the store after furnishing and refurbishing it. As far as the back end is concerned, we've always believed in focusing on our core competence, which has always been design, and then over a period we've learned how to brand and how to market and how to retail. So that's the strength we've been always focusing on. So production has always been outsourced. We have a sampling unit for the purpose of maintaining secrecy of our design, but production is completely outsourced. Now, having said that, it is completely outsourced. We work very closely with our vendor partners as though they are our own factories, so that we can ensure that there is an efficient output of production from these factories. And see, I'm a first generation entrepreneur, built this business on relationships. So that's relationships have been built on the fact that we've ensured that all our partners make money, whether it's the front end, whether it's the back end. So to ensure that, we have to see that our partners, our manufacturers, get all the inputs that they need to get an efficient output of production on time, and they get all the decisions required in time to be able to meet the days they have planned to put in the products into the machine. And we have strong IT-enabled systems that give us a complete eye view of the entire life cycle journey of the product, starting from ordering of the fabrics, buttons, labels, and all accessories to when it's going to reach the factory, when is the date it's expected to be cut, and when is it loaded into the machine, and what's the actual output from the machines versus the expected output, etc. Like I said, to ensure that there is an efficient output of production, and to ensure that there is a quality output of production at the desired time, we have two separate teams. One is the team that ensures output of production, and there's a separate team ensuring the quality is, the desired quality is derived out of the output. As I said, that the business has been built on relationships. We've been working very closely with all our partners, whether it's our fabric supplier or our manufacturing partner or our distributors or our franchisees. We have long-standing relationships with all of them, and typically our top vendors we've been working with for more than 8 years at a stretch. More than half of our franchisees are more than 5 years old. Some of our franchisees go back to inception, more than 10 years old, and continue to grow their stores with us. So that's about external. The business has been built on relationships, not just externally, but even internally. Most of the people working with us have been with us for a very, very long period. Our designers with collective experience of more than 200 years. They travel extensively, so do I, and to keep abreast with global trends. We also partner with some trend forecasting agencies, which most of the global brands partner with, and interpret the trends that they forecast in our language of our brand, and propose it to our consumer in our handwriting. Do a lot of research and development before we curate a collection for our consumers. We look at a lot, maybe 8 to 10 or 1,000 SKUs before we curate a collection of 500 to 600 pieces for our consumers every. Rasik, if you could just take the slide up, please.
Yeah, so we've grown at a CAGR of over 42% in the last 3 years. We have healthy margins with gross margin over 57%, EBITDA margin over 32%, PAT margin over 15%, ROCE over 28%. Working capital days 182 days, but that is the number worked out by statutory auditor by calculating payables and inventory on COGS. But if you calculate these on revenue, as is the industry norm, the working capital days work out to 132 days.
Thanks, Rasik.